apparently Democratic women report the lowest levels of relationship satisfaction. You can see over here on the chart. I don't know. Does my cursor show? It doesn't really show on that screen.
Yeah, I can see the cursor.
It says women, in the Republican category, completely satisfied is reported as 42 out of this full list over here, and Democrat is 29. The other ones are obviously very, very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, not too sad. But generally speaking, it seems like women that lean more on the conservative side are much happier in relationships. I'm going to assume it's because they're with more masculine men, whereas Democrat, liberal type women tend to pick more softer, feminized, the soy boy sort of like avatar type of guys, and they're reporting lower levels of satisfaction. The other thing too is I think that, when it comes to political opinions and ideology, there's a pretty clear, to me anyway, obvious signs that there's a victim mindset that's infused more in the Democrat type of parties. Like everybody's oppressed, everybody's been taken advantage of, no accountability, no ownership. So it's no surprise that the level of satisfaction is reported quite low. What did you guys think about that?
I think what happens with these people is they have fractured identities a lot of times. So I came across a girl yesterday out and about, talked to her for a bit, and very clearly it became abundantly clear very quickly that she was one of these ism type people. And just talking to her at one point, I think I ended up discarding her pretty quickly. Because again, you vet these people out, girl or guy, in your life, to where I'm like, hey, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to like a program version of you. And her identity was so wrapped up in her politics and her way of viewing the world that I wasn't even talking to her. It was like an automaton or a robot that I was engaging with. And it's mentally exhausting for me. So normally I let those conversation threads end, or a lot of times these chicks don't get the hint and I end it for them and let her be on her way. But I think so many people have fractured identities to where, okay, let's say that I fly the flags or I support Black Lives Matter or whatever the political issue du jour is, and all of a sudden you say something against it. Well, you're not only offending Black people, you're offending me personally, because now I'm a part of this camp. I suffered as much as they did just by posting something on Facebook or Instagram. So pat me on the back, look at me. Where's my praise? Where's my attention? Where's my validation? And when you don't give it to those people, or guys like us are like, hey, you realize this is kind of bullshit, right? Like you guys went and burned down all your cities, and then the people who launched this organization just kind of fucked off with the money. Like no one thinks about that. Oh, that is a declaration of war against him, because you were personally attacking and pulling apart their identity, which is hanging on by a very, very fine thread.
Exactly. Do you remember the article that came out last month, and it said that employers were screening resumes based on the pronouns on the resumes? So if you put your pronouns on a resume, employers were essentially going, yeah, I don't want to deal with this person because I know I'm going to be bringing identity politics into my office. So it's the same in relationships. For any ladies listening to this, if you start off with identity politics, most men who have options are going to be like, yeah, I'm not going near that.
Yeah,
well,
don't.
In Romania, might be a different place to the rest of the world. When I had the restaurant back in the day, I had two people of unusual sexual orientation, let's call it that. They were very hardworking. They were always on time. They never gave me lip service. And it was like they were two of the people that I had the least problems with. They didn't stay for long, but when they were there, they did their job, and they weren't constantly trying to create mountains out of molehills. Otherwise, in Romania, regarding chicks like that, I just next. Like, there's no reason. Like, maybe if she's a 9.5, maybe I'll grow weak and try to do something over there. But otherwise, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, I don't deal with anybody with pronouns, man. I get loads of emails, and if something shows up with pronouns, I don't even care what the offer is. It's just block immediately. Like, I'm not dealing with these fucking easily manipulated, culturally woke folks. They're just not trustworthy, in my opinion. Because if they can be manipulated that easily, I just can't trust them. So,
and that's the crux of it all, because you know that this person, whatever the next thing is, this person is going to be into it. As soon as the next thing drops, they're into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like,
Some
you
people
know,
grow
Jake's here
out
in the
of it.
chat. He said an ex broke up with him because he didn't want to go to a pride parade with her. It's like that's where you set the boundary. Send them off. Send them off. They'll maybe figure it out one day. Maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. But like I always say, don't make your problems my problems. It's very simple. You want a clean life. You want a simple life. You want a pleasant, happy life. Don't let somebody with woke ideologies and problems come into your life. Done. And men with options will do that. You know, that's why Jake was able to say, no, I'm good. Have fun. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
And the thing is, the woke ideology, they're not happy people. Like, I spoke to a friend of mine the other day who's liberal. He's classical liberal. And we can have a lot of fun busting each other's chops over
Yeah, right here,
politics.
man.
But
They're
the
clearly not
wokes,
happy.
they're just not, they're because to them, the world is full of injustice and horrible stuff all the time. You know, they just can't see beauty or enjoyment or fun or happiness anywhere. You know?
Let's, Moff, you sent a video link. Do you want me to put that up and play it? It's like 54 seconds. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, my computer's a little bit slow. Yeah, I thought that was just a funny clip. Like, if you want to deal, like, if you want to put it up, I mean, it's about 50 seconds. Yeah.
All right, hold on a sec. Let me. Actually, here I'll switch over that in a second since I got it already queued up. Do you guys know who Esther Perel is?
Heard about her.
She's
solid.
brilliant.
She's pretty solid. I met her in 2010. I sat at a table with her. You know, she's done a couple of TED Talks. I've referenced a few of her books, and I follow her on Twitter, and this popped up in my feed the other day. So I want to share it with you. It's like a minute-long video, and she's talking about can women and men be friends? So check this out. Let me just back it up here and volume on, play.
Can men and women be friends? Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is also a real cultural thing, because I know that in the US, when you put friendships between men and women on a search, you're going to get immediately, no, not possible, totally sexualized all the time. You can't. I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. I think that there are deep friendships between all types of people, certainly between men and women identified, and lifelong, and they can coexist with a primary romantic relationship. And I honestly think that it's very, very good. It's really important. You know, I tell my sons that they should have girlfriends that are not their girlfriends, so that when they have questions about a girlfriend, they actually have another female friend that they can go and talk to, as well as male friends for that matter. It's so important. I have spent a lot of time wondering why this was seen as so impossible. Why does everything have to be sexualized? And a part of it has to do with this country's attitude towards sexuality that then describes friendship between men and women as impossible. So I'm quite clear on this one. I wish it for all.
So I find that interesting because, you know, she says, why does everything have to be sexualized? I can't remember who the gentleman was that quoted it, but it's widely regarded by most academics like this that everything in the world is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power. Now, I commented on this. I said, you know, you can park your exotic car in a shit neighborhood overnight, leave it unlocked, and find it in the morning. Absolutely. But chances are it'll be damaged or worse, stolen. I think that some of this might be ego investments in her beliefs because of her age. I don't know how old she is. She's probably close to 60 now. And her SMV obviously, you know, doesn't exist. I think any guy that would want to be friends with her is probably for like an academic reason or for promotion. So it probably doesn't compute. But I'm still of the position that men and women can't be friends. I mean, if she's attractive and you're friends with her, you're going to want to bang her. It's as simple as that.
And it's funny, Rich, you mentioned it. So to debunk her argument, for these people on the left, the entire world is based on haves and have-nots, the victim mentality versus the oppressors, any of that. Everything all is about a power exchange. In their ideology, sex is about a power exchange, and they make that argument usually very clearly. And then out of the same mouth, they say, well, but male-female relationships, they can be purely platonic because why does it have to be about sex? They know it's about a power exchange, and they know that in those types of relationships, they have the power as females and are extracting resources from the guys with whom they enter those platonic type friendships. That's precisely why you don't do that type of thing. And even in like interpersonal relationships I've had, I'll say admittedly, yeah, I have a couple of platonic girlfriends, but That's because they're girls I'm not attracted to. And I know that in these relationships, there is a power exchange where one of them wants something more from the other than the other is willing to give them. And in that case, I have had girls in the past or coworkers where you can tell they want something more out of you, and you maintain the power by not giving that to them. But usually in those relationships, it's the girl extracting power, resources, or deriving power by extracting time, money, resources, energy from the guy. That's precisely why. So she, with her ideology or worldview, they kind of pull apart their argument also in the sense that it's all about power. That's why you don't do it.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.